Hey, good morning, chuckleheads. Tyler, how we
Hi.
doing? We got Tyler Tracy in the house this morning,
Yeah.
burning the wee hours. We've been busy watching a bunch of the shit show, the dumpster fire going on out there. It's been an interesting week, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, for you as well. Big things going on.
Well, it's just the start of my week, really. So,
Yeah, just waking up to all this snow,
yeah, that was fun.
driving around in that RV.
Yep.
Tyler's got a big ass RV dually.
Yeah.
That actually doesn't help in the snow.
No, it doesn't.
It makes it worse. But you got enough weight in that thing too, though.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
suppose. But did you winterize that?
No.
You didn't.
No.
Did you have plumbing and stuff hooked up in it?
Mm-mm.
Oh, like when you were living in it, you didn't.
Mm-mm.
Nothing.
No, because there's a leak in one of the lines.
Oh, that's not good. You don't want to be leaking that gray water.
No.
Well, that's cool. Well, yeah, I was gonna say because winterizing those things is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So you didn't have a propane tank or anything on it. Does it have propane?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. It's a pretty sweet RV though.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah. You're gonna hold on to it.
I think I'm gonna sell it.
Oh, I wouldn't sell it. I don't know. Trade it.
Trade it.
Something. I don't know. I don't know if I'd sell it. Dude, if you keep it, you always got a house. I regret selling mine.
Do you?
Yeah, because I mean, it's always like if it comes down to it, you have always got to. I mean, if you have a house on wheels,
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we could be coming up on apocalyptic times here.
Yeah.
I mean, we might get they might clone Sam Bankman-Fried, and we might have an army of them coming after us.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
It might be like that. What was that? What was the one with the Quaid dude? Legion. Did you ever see that movie?
Yeah, I've watched
Were
it like
they-
twice in the last
Yeah,
month.
yeah, it's weird, dude. I watched that thing like 3 times in 1 week.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
It's a pretty good movie.
That's Randy Quaid, right? Or is that no? It's
I think
Randy.
I think it's Dennis.
No, that is Dennis. Randy's the goofball.
Yeah.
He's the one that took off to Canada or whatever. Was on the lam, all conspiracy theoried out.
Yeah.
I think when he did Independence Day, I think it went to his head.
Yeah.
What else was? Oh, he was Cousin Eddie in the National Lampoons.
Yeah.
Always had the 6-pack of Bush on his belt.
Yeah.
Hey Clark, shitter's full. That dude. I guess they said he's kind of off the rails. I don't know. I guess he got in a bunch of trouble or something. I don't know. Yeah, Dennis. Dennis is the one. He's in a band too.
Rock band?
Yeah, he has a band. They played up at Billings a couple years ago. I can't remember. It's called like Shark something weird. I don't know.
Sharknado.
Sharknado. Great movie.
Yeah.
It's a tornado full of sharks. It's just about right up there with snakes on a plane.
Motherfucking snakes on the motherfucking plane.
I mean, who comes up with this shit? Sharknado. I think that shit came out when I was locked up.
They've got like 7 of them.
Yeah, I think the first one, because I remember there was a bunch of dudes. We had some sci-fi dudes in the TV room that wanted to watch that shit, and I was like, fuck no, you ain't watching no Sharknado in here. You fuck off. Ain't no cartoons or no Sharknado going on in here. Oh, man. So anyway, I guess we'll start it off. I wanted to say, first of all, rest in peace to Mike Leach. That was pretty sad to see that this morning. Mike Leach was, he played football here in Cody. He was a Cody Bronc. He was on the state championship team of 1976, where they beat Laramie 41-40. You had the great Rob Russell playing on that team. And if I remember right, Kevin Inbody, who I used to work with out in the oil field, shout out Kevin Inbody, bad motherfucker right there. He ended up kicking the extra point in overtime to beat Laramie to win the state championship that year. And then if I remember right, the next year they just barely lost to like Cheyenne. So Mike Leach went on to coach for Texas Tech, and he had a coaching style unlike any other coaches really. I mean, the dude knew how to score, and he was also an attorney, and he had a really dry sense of humor.
Excellent.
But he was hilarious. Like I met him, I think it was 06, 07, and he was hanging out with Johnny Mack, Coach McDougal. Shout out to you. Him and Johnny Mack were hanging out. It was on the 4th of July weekend, and I ran into them at the Dollar, and we sat there and talked for a little bit. And it was an amusing conversation. The guy's got this weird. He had a sense of humor that was like he did this thing one time where they were interviewing him, and he got off on getting married. I'll have to play it for you later. If anybody is thinking about it, you ought to look up Mike Leach weddings. I mean, he was definitely an interesting cat. He's damn sure no weenie. Came off as kind of mean, but he was funny as hell too. So rest in peace, Mike Leach. The world's not a better place without you. I can tell you that. And you know, thoughts go out to all his family and everybody else that knew him and loved the guy, which was quite a few. The dude had quite a big influence on college football, and I know on a lot of young players' lives. So anyway, the next thing I guess we're going to get into is SBF. From FTX, if you guys don't know what that is. That would be Sam Bankman-Fried. Sam had bitch tits.
Sure did.
Yeah. What was that? Oh, was that that Chuck Palahniuk Fight Club?
Fight Club, yeah.
Was it Bob?
Bob had bitch tits.
Bob had bitch tits. That was Meatloaf.
It was Meatloaf.
Rest in peace, Meatloaf, too. I don't know. I still don't know what he wouldn't do.
I think it's rape.
Okay. I just remember my boss one time driving down to Casper, and I always had to drive because he was always too drunk. And we're out there between
Diet Pepsi and vodka.
Yeah, exactly. And he'd sit there and chain smoke and wouldn't let you roll the windows down. So he's doing that number, and I'm listening to a Widespread Panic CD, and we're between Shoshone and Casper. And for all you out here that know, that is the worst section of the road. Other than maybe being out between like Tonopah and fucking Reno in Nevada, or out on the flats in Utah, it's pretty bad. And so he like finally wakes up and he reaches under his seat and he's got this old CD case, and he pops my CD out and he puts in Meatloaf. And I'm just driving down I got on cruise control, and I'm looking at him like, I'm listening to this shit, you know, and I'm like, motherfucker. And he's like, what? And I just hit eject, and I hit the window on his side, and I just flung that thing right past his face like a frisbee right out the window. He's like, what the fuck did you just do? I said, fucking, if I'm driving everywhere, dude, we're not listening to fucking Meatloaf. He was so mad about that. He was salty about that the rest of the trip, man. He was like, I can't believe you threw my fucking CD out the window. Well, fuck that. We ain't listening to that bullshit. So anyway, I don't know how we got off on that tangent, because we're talking about bitch tits. Sam Bankman-Fried. Now, I can't help but think that this guy was propped up, that he was perhaps put in this position by somebody with authority and money. Mm-hmm. You look at the name. Bankman spelled Fried, pronounced Fried. And he was a cryptocurrency dealer, or exchange is what his deal was. He was an exchange, right? So he would talk people into investing in crypto, right? And so he had another company called Alameda, and his ex-girlfriend, polyamorous, there's a mess going on there. These people had like $256 million worth of real estate down in the Bahamas. He and her were together. She was the CEO of Alameda. He let her make a bunch of the decision-making, like decided where they were going to throw their money. But it wasn't their money. He was taking the money that people were investing in FTX, and then he was moving that through Alameda. So say you invest $2 million in this guy. He's going to take your $2 million and he's going to funnel it over here to Alameda to this weird-looking, polyamorous girlfriend of his that I don't know what's going on with him. And she's going to take it and she's going to invest it, and she made terrible investments. And I don't think it was just her. I think that there was a whole bunch of them that were doing this, and I think they thought it was okay to roll like that. But obviously they didn't think it was okay, because they were set up down in the Bahamas. Now, whether they did that because it was a nice leisurely place to be, or if they did it because they didn't want to be in the United States, I don't know.
Right.
He acted really dumb, though, when he got caught. I mean, he didn't think that there was any way they were going to jam him up. He was willing to cooperate. The only person that invested more to the DNC in the last election in 2020 was George Soros. He was a close second behind George Soros as far as donations go. So he's on the hook for a lot of, a lot of campaign donation fraud. Now I'm wondering, is Joe Biden going to give that money? Is he going to give it back to the investors? Or these people in the DNC that used that money? I mean, like Maxine Water completely threw him under the bus today. And she was one of them that was like, she was all on board with Sam Bankman-Fried.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, the name just gets me. Bankman-Fried. It's like, they were like, you're the bank man and you're free to do whatever you want with this shit.
Yeah.
Just kick down. And that's what he did. I mean, they made it look like he was this, he's such a great donor and just a real humanitarian and what a philanthropist. And you look at him and he had bitch tits and that, I mean, he was really awkward and weird. I mean, would you invest money with that guy? You
No.
saw him? I don't, if that guy approached me, I don't believe that I would give him, maybe I might make him a grilled cheese sandwich. Maybe.
He looks like he needs a grilled cheese
Maybe
sandwich.
give him but he's a vegan too, so he can't have no cheese, or butter. So I don't know how you make a grilled cheese sandwich if you're
Margarine.
What do you make for the cheese though if you're a vegan? No cheese, just cheese.
Squeezed cheese.
Squeezed cheese. Well, yeah, I guess that prison squeezed cheese probably isn't much cheese in it. But yeah, this guy. So anyway, he thinks that, they were interviewing him the other day, and they asked him, "Are you worried about going back on the United States soil? Are you worried you're going to get jammed up?" And he's like, "I don't. He's like, "I don't think so. I haven't really thought about that. I don't believe that. And he's just like, "I'm sorry. I made some mistakes. I just got spread thin. I don't know what happened." I mean, dude, he lost $39 billion in like. So he had this Alameda Research was his one company, and then he had FTX, right? And then you throw in then the girlfriend's father. There's an interesting thing right there. I mean, you want to talk about Wall Street? I mean, I'm just going to pull up an image. So, I mean, I'm sure everybody knows who we're talking about here. Maybe, unless you've been under a rock for a while.
I mean, I know. So.
I mean, this dude. I mean, here's your guy. And here's a better. I mean, I want to see him in court. So here's a good one. This is him and the girl, right? See if we can zoom
She
in.
looks like she's about 14.
Yeah, right. She's got a weird. I mean, yeah. So I'm just gonna pull up the monitor for a second so everybody can see this, who we're talking about, just in case you don't know. Hopefully that doesn't come up over your face there, Tyler. It might. I don't know if I can even, maybe it's not going to pull up. What did I do? What did I do? There we go. Oh, it's right over Tyler's face. Here, we'll move it down here. So there we go. This is who we got right here. We got Sam Bankman-Fried and Caroline Ellison, I believe is her name, if my memory serves me right. So these two right here are in charge of billions of dollars. He's on some weird drug patches that he does. She's on some type. I mean, look at the pupils on those two. Those two are pinned to the gills.
Yeah, they have no
They said he slept on the floor most of the time. That photo of his almost looks like they did some Photoshop on it.
Yeah, he looks.
See how you can see, like, I don't know if you can see the cursor, but see how you can see. Look at that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to see. I mean, that's like light coming through. Like, look at his hair over here. It looks really weird. Like, especially around his ear, it almost looks like photoshopped.
I'm sure they photoshopped it.
You can't see.
Because he looks. I mean, he doesn't.
He looks weird.
Yeah.
And so does she. It's like, is that? I mean, and they're different backdrops. I mean, where's this? That looks like someplace in South America, like Mexico City or something. Neither one of them have any color to their eyes either. They just got big old golf ball discs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got no iris.
Yeah. So that's who we're talking about here. And this is a bigger scandal than Bernie Madoff. Like, this is a bigger Ponzi scheme than anybody has ever pulled off. And this is a 30-year-old kid, and he started it at 27.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that this dude is able to do that just by himself without being propped up by somebody. I just don't see it. Do you? I mean, we're talking the biggest Ponzi scheme, the biggest financial fraud that's ever been perpetrated. I mean, look at this character. I mean, the guy, he apparently sat there and begged in front of the judge to his lawyer said he would post a $250,000 cash bond because he needed to be out because of his vegan diet and because of his medication. And the judge allowed him to take the medication, and apparently he said, well, I have to take my shirt off, which no one wanted to see that, but he uses these patches.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is that he takes, but it's some kind of it's like they do with the fentanyl patches. But it's like some kind of they say he's got ADD. So, I mean, to do what this guy has done and have it and be all ADD'd out and I don't know, man. The whole thing stinks. It really does. And then her father is I'm gonna have to look at it. I believe it's Gary. I don't want to say it without actually looking it up, but it's like a Gary, but it's spelled weird, like a Gerry, Gary, instead of like a Gary.
Maybe that's Jerry.
Usually it is, but his is pronounced Gary, but it's spelled with a Gerry, which I had never seen that before.
With an E.
Right.
All Garys are spelled with a G.
And an A.
Yeah, an A.
His is a Gerry.
2 R's.
Right. Yeah, and that's a Jerry. To me, that's a Jerry's kid.
Yeah. Yeah,
here's an article that fumed over media spotlight on polyamorous sex life. I don't even, you don't really even want to even really think much about that.
No.
I'm just trying to find, I want to make sure I've got the name right. I just want to look up her father because he is certainly a big player on Wall Street. He's been in different administrations. Okay, Carolyn Ellison. And if I look that up, her father should come up. It's Gary. I just can't remember I can't remember all these names. There's so many of them. Can't remember everybody. But I believe he was in the Bush administration. There should be some information on her. The father should. Glenn. No, that's not right. Glenn Ellison. Is that it? I don't think so. The Jerry guy, Gary, whatever his name was definitely involved in this whole thing too. It's a weird thing. And then like Sam Bankman-Fried, the parents showed up at his court date, and they were apparently like laughing. Like in the courtroom, like there's their son up there, and they're laughing, like she's some sort of math whiz, but apparently not that much of a math whiz because it seems like she lost all the money. At least she was the one in charge of the Alameda research, So I don't know. The whole thing stinks. A lot of money was filtered into the DNC. Now here's the thing, his partner, he put money into the Republican Party, which is weird, There's just so many weird things that are going on here that just don't make any sense.
Right.
And then the name I keep getting hung up on that. Bankman-Fried, pronounced Freed. Bankman Kentucky Fried. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I'm trying to remember the name of his partner, but his partner was this preppy looking. Like his partner is the kind of guy that looks like what you would think a guy would look like that pulled something off like this. Now, looks don't mean anything, right?
Right.
I mean, he became a former billionaire in a matter of a couple of weeks here. Born in 1992, 30 years old. And so his mom and I think his mom and dad, I believe, are both professors at, I want to say, Stanford. Just a really weird story. And he was going to testify. He was going to go in front of Congress. He was going to spill the beans. And they went and jammed him up in the Bahamas. They arrested him, and now they won't let him out on bail. Now, why would a magistrate in the Bahamas wanted? I mean, the guy didn't do anything violent to anybody, obviously, unless you consider stealing somebody's money to be violence, which the IRS does every day, and I guess I consider that violence.
Right.
Taking something that doesn't belong to you, I guess that's violence in a way. I mean, I love how Bernie Madoff
Not
comes
physical violence.
Right, but it's still violent.
Right.
I mean, when you're taking something that belongs to somebody else and, you know, using it for other things than you tell them you're going to do with it, I mean, it's robbery, it's fraud. I mean, he's going up on, they said that he's looking at like 400 years. And I don't think he's ever going to see the light of day because he knows too much. Or maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But he donated, the only person that donated more was George Soros to the DNC. But then his partner, the other dude that he was hooked up with, I mean, he was donating to the Republicans, which is like, isn't that kind of offset itself? I mean, to me it does. I don't know. It seems kind of weird. And it sounds like he put, I mean, he didn't, it was not even close to the amount of money that I think maybe he did it just to, maybe he was trying to pay off some Republicans to vote the other way to, you know, help the Democrats out in the Senate or something. I don't know.
Gary Wang.
That's not the one. Because I'm telling you, it's a ERRY.
I know, but this is his business partner.
Yeah, that's one of them. There's another one though. Oh God. I'll have to look it up. I don't know. I'll have to get further into it. Anyway, the whole thing is crazy because they don't typically go and arrest somebody this quickly. And they knew that he was going to testify. And I think the reason that they went and jammed him up was because they knew that what he was going to say to Congress was going to implicate people all the way up the line.
Yeah.
And so by jamming him up and keeping him in custody, they kept his mouth shut. And I don't think they're going to give him the opportunity to do that. I think that because he just got arrested, I think they jammed him up because they didn't want him talking. And I don't know, he wasn't going to come into he was going to do it via video, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have any intention of you know, stepping back on American soil. They'd asked him and he said that he was, you know, they asked if he was concerned about that. And he said he wasn't, but that it wasn't something on his mind right now and he'd have to approach it later. Well, as soon as he announced he was going to come out and talk, boom, he gets jammed up in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
I mean, and what motivation does anybody in the Bahamas have to do to go fuck with this guy? I mean, he's down there buying up properties, pumping money into the economy down there and everything else. I mean, he hasn't done anything. I would guess that I've never been to the Bahamas, but I would guess that it's a pretty laid back island type attitude. I mean, maybe not. You know, I mean, I saw all the cops they had at that courthouse, and it looked pretty crazy for that area. But just weird stuff going on there. Weird shit. You know, and you know, it's like it leads me to believe that it's almost like a Jeffrey Epstein type deal, except for this guy wasn't in the even though he was in the polyamorous whatever these ugly people had going on, which I don't even really want to think about. You look at those two, and it's like, well, you can be poly whatever as long as you just stay the hell out of my way. Just stay down there.
Yeah.
But it's a weird case, man. It's a really weird case. I don't know. Hey, anybody out there, weigh in. Tell me what you think about this guy with this Sam Bankman-Fried, or Sam Bankman, Kentucky Fried. And then we've got the whole Elon Musk. Elon Musk is just making waves, and he just keeps on going, and he keeps coming out with stuff. And next thing he's coming out with, allegedly, is going to be a COVID, like a COVID deep dive, data dump. And he's come out and said, I mean, he came out with a tweet yesterday, and it said, my pronouns are prosecute / Fauci. And I mean, so he's going to come out with a data dump about everything there. And I think that's, I mean, I don't know. That dude, if he wasn't lying, he definitely didn't deserve to be in the position he was in, because Fauci was the highest paid government employee. He made more money than the president. And I mean, it was wear a mask, don't wear a mask, wear 3 masks, get your boosters, get your 6th booster, get your, you know, I mean, and then he ends up getting it. You know, Biden gets it twice. I don't even know if Biden got the. You see, you know, they had the footage of Biden getting the shot, and it was funny because they said that there wasn't a vaccination before Biden took over or whatever. Well, yeah, they'd already developed the vaccination.
Right.
And then they show him getting the jab, and the nurse doesn't even aspirate the shot. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
I mean, you're shooting the president of the United States in the arm with this thing. Do you think you'd know the procedure? Did they even give him anything? I mean, was it just all theatrics? I don't know. Allegedly? I don't know. It's weird. And then you see people dropping dead. Like the other day, this dude, rest in peace, Grant Wald. I think that everything I ever saw, the guy, good dude, college basketball commentator, soccer fan. He's over in Qatar, and he's over there covering, you know, World Cup games. And he'd been a little bit ill. Guy's in good shape, 48 years old. And he's up there in the press booth. He's on his computer. They're laughing at like somebody's tweet or something like that. Dude is not in bed. And all of a sudden, boom, heart attack, done, dead. His wife is a doc that was on the Biden the Biden transition team going into the White House. She's a big doctor in New York City, was a proponent of giving children over 6 months old the vaccination. So you know that Grant Wald had been jabbed the appropriate amount of times.
Right.
He's not in bad shape. The guy looked like he was, I mean, he looks like the kind of guy, and I don't know anything about his personal life, but they didn't have kids. They had 2 dogs at that age, so they were both obviously married to their profession.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he looked like the kind of guy that probably played, you know, men's league soccer, maybe, you know, basketball, probably hung out at the gym whenever he could. Looked like he probably ate well. Probably didn't drink. Looked like a dude that was in good. Not a candidate for a massive, you know, heart attack out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he'd been sick, but I mean, he looked like the kind of guy, you know, you get sick and he's going to be fine. I mean, it's just, you know, and then you got the passing of Mike Leach with the heart attack that he had. That it was like within a day he was gone, and it just. I'm not saying anything one way or another. I'm not anti-vax, you know, but I'm not personally vaxxed myself.
Me neither.
With this one. I mean, I've been vaccinated for everything else in my life, but this one I'm not doing, and that's my choice. And I've had the goddamn COVID twice.
Right.
You've had it
Twice.
Yeah. And people that are fucking Joe Biden's had it twice, you know. I mean, I think Fauci got it twice. A lot of people they got it twice, and then you got people that get what they call the long COVID. And now they said that initially it was 1 out of 13 vaccinated needed serious medical attention, like hospitalization. And now they said that out of the people that are actually dying from whatever strain of it is that we have now, it's not even the Omicron anymore. I don't even know what it is. But it's like 6 out of 13 that are dying, supposedly, allegedly, from the Rona are vaccinated.
Huh. Doesn't get much more half than that.
But there's not, you know, but people aren't dying. I mean, yeah, I know, right? But there's not people aren't dying from it. And I think the numbers were conflated to begin with, you know? There was an incentive to write that as the UCOD. And that was put out there. It was put out there by the CDC. I mean, when the whole thing started, I mean, hospitals were getting like, if it was somebody that came in and they died and they wrote it down on the UCOD, the universal cause of death, as Corona-19, then they got 13 grand. And if they put that person on a fucking ventilator, then they got another 33 grand for it. So, I mean, when you back things up with financial incentives, hospitals are always looking for money, right?
Always.
Oh,
Always.
yeah. I mean, every time you've got a bill for a tax hike, if they want to hike like the state sales tax up 1% or whatever, always included is for hospitals, libraries, and the roads and schools, right?
Right.
But I mean, you look at the amount of work that's gone into the hospital here in this town. I mean, from what it used to be to what it is now, I mean, it's pretty crazy for this little town.
Yeah.
We got things in this town that's like the police station here. I was like, do we really need this? I mean,
Yeah, and that thing was expensive.
Well, yeah, and it was on the backs of DUIs.
Yeah.
You know, you and I both know that because we were working in the bar scene back in the day when they were just camped out and pulling over every fucking person that left, you know, anywhere downtown, you know. I mean, that's why people don't even go out anymore. That and everybody got, you know, confined or whatever. I mean, like when we were out running around back in the day, I mean, that shit, like we're talking, even like a night like this where it's cold as fuck and snowing sideways, you could go down to the Rusty Peso and the place would be full of all our friends. And we'd be down there carrying on and having a great time, you know?
Yeah.
Now, you go down there on a Saturday night. I mean, there's nobody. There's nobody there. I've only been in there a couple of times in the last 3 to 4 years. Just to see, you know, a couple different bands that I liked. And I mean, I was like, this is not, I mean, I don't know, man. It's crazy. Everything's changed. The world's changed.
Yeah.
It's a different spot now. It's a different place. It's never going to go back. But then you see just all the corruption and this shit that's going on. People don't have, you know, people's dollar isn't going as far. I mean, you know, the amount of money they're paying people, but it's still not enough. I mean, how much do you have to make to be able to comfortably, like, just to get by? What do you think the number is here in Wyoming per hour, like an hourly wage?
I'd say 20.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably more than that.
You think so?
We'll find out. We'll see. Because I remember when I was in Seattle, this is back in the day, and it was like $28 an hour. This was back in the early 2000s. 43 grand. Yeah, the average annual pay is 43,264. So that you're right, $20.80. You're right on the money. That works out to $20.80, and that's if you work an 80-hour or a 40-hour week. I'm guessing. This is from ZipRecruiter too, so I don't put much stock into that.
That's because you're wrong, and I was right.
Well, not necessarily. Okay, if you're talking 2 adults, 1 working, and with 2 children, it's $33.88. Poverty wage is $12.74 or $6.19. Who makes $6.19?
I don't know.
Minimum wage is $7.25. Why would they put that number up? Who did this come from?
Because of waiters and waitresses, maybe.
Right, but don't they? Maybe, I don't know. Let's see what the national average is. I mean, they're talking about wages going up and this and that, but it's like, dude, when I was in the store the other night, man, I went in there to get vegetables and some chicken broth to make that soup.
Yeah, that was good soup.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Me too.
But I got a bag of carrots, some potatoes, and a thing of chicken broth. The chicken broth was $7 for a little box of chicken broth.
For real?
Yeah, that little bag of potatoes was $5.79. A sack of carrots was like $3.
Jeez.
I mean, carrots was like 89 cents for a bag. I mean, I was like, what the? I mean, just to get them. I mean, I'm looking at that chicken broth and going, wait, what? $7 for a box of chicken broth? I mean, where'd these chickens come from? I mean, where'd they get these motherfuckers? Okay, living wage calculation for Wyoming. Oh, this is going to calculate. Let's see. This is from MIT. Oh, God, they got a chart. I'm not good at charts.
Let's see here. One adult with 0 children. Oh, that's the same shit that we were just looking at.
Yeah, it was a different one. Yeah, this is...
Same numbers, at least.
Yeah, 1 adult, 0 children, 15.25. I don't know how you're going to do that, though. Tell you the truth. I mean, that's barely making it. That's maybe paying your bills. I don't know. If you looked in I mean, some of these states, it's got to be crazy, I mean, can you imagine the cost of living in like New York?
Oh man.
I mean, you're paying, I don't even know. What is this? This is in July. Jesus. It's just ridiculous. I mean, the numbers are crazy. And that dipshit gets up there and says, inflation didn't go up a single point. It's like, dude, you're a fucking moron. And it doesn't matter to them. Those people, it doesn't affect them. They don't care. They just think we're all peasants and that they're just going to, and that's the good thing about what's going on right now. So people, I'm going to just cut it. We're going to cut it off at this point here. But here's the thing. You've got to, if you have any inclination at all, then now's the time to figure out what's going on. Pay the fuck attention to what's happening here. Open your eyes. Do a little homework. Research things. Don't believe everything that you hear. Okay? Don't believe it. Back it up with, some research. Look things up. Look up sources. Don't believe what people post on Bookface and Instagram and all this other shit. Even YouTube and any other place. You have to back your sources up. You have to do whatever you can to try and get information, because it's been proven now that all of our information has been censored. It's been manipulated. It's been changed. It's been, it's been like a piece of silly putty where they're twisting it and moving it in the way that they want. And this has come out with Elon Musk, and he's being villainized when he actually should be given I'll give Elon a shout out. I think that we're fortunate that he's willing to do what he's doing, because he doesn't have to put himself in this position. He's the richest man on the planet. Why would he want to put himself out there like this? He came out on Chappelle's stage the other night, and in San Francisco, and half the people were booing him. Now, they must have been people that worked at Twitter in San Francisco that he'd fired. But he dropped 80% of the dead weight, and that's what a CEO does. That's what an owner, you go in and you got 80% of your employees that are sitting there playing fucking bingo on their phone. Yeah. Fucking, here's your papers, bro.
Yeah.
Kick fucking rocks, man. I mean, you can't blame them for that. Everybody thinks that they just are, that they're, they deserve the job that they got or whatever, that they, that money, that whatever they don't do anything for is just what they should get. And, I don't understand why they had so many employees there. I mean, and you're talking about a bunch of dipshit young kids that, they were censoring people. I mean, it's been amazing, the things I've put on Twitter in the last couple of weeks. I mean, I never had anybody even look at my stuff because I'd been shadow banned, and now at least there's, I'm getting reactions to it, and it's staying up. It's not getting taken down. I mean, I just put out shit that's funny and it's factual. Like the Sam Britton fucking meme I made. I mean, that wouldn't have gone up 3 weeks ago. It would have been taken down immediately.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's just funny. And I would, and here's the thing with that Sam Britton guy. People were giving him a bunch of shit a few months back. And I actually on the podcast said, you know what? Who cares what this guy's private life is? I was like, if he does his job well, what he's hired to do, if he does his job well, then what he does in the privacy of his own home is his own business. I said he probably does his job great. He's probably very intelligent and suited for the job. I mean, I kind of stood up for the dude. And he's out there stealing luggage from ladies at airports.
Well, that's what he's doing in his private life, so.
I guess. So I was wrong on that one again. Again, I got to eat shit on that one. That was wrong. And I don't give a shit what he is as far as a dog or a cat or what,
Horse.
Yeah, I'm a broom. Anyway, on that note, we're going to end it. So, Tyler, any closing thoughts?
Nope.
All right. Well, thank you for that addition.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, you remember when it's like that Chris Farley shit? Hey, man, you remember when you did this? That was cool. All right, we're out. As it's always ending, be good or be good at it. In all things, be kind and do no harm. Catch you on the next one.